This is Russ with DevotedGolfer.tv. I'm here with Tom Dashill. Tom is the Director of R&D with Matrix. So we're going to have to assume that Tom knows a little bit about the Matrix shafts.
Only a little.
Only a little,
Yeah.
right? So we have a new shaft in our hand, the Velox.
Yep. Previously we had the Matrix Flight System, the MFS family of shafts.
We know as the black tie, the red tie, and the white tie.
Correct.
Black being the lowest launch, red being the mid launch, and white being the high launch.
Correct. Velox is the new line, and this family of shafts is all about trying to maximize head speed. And we did a survey of shafts being used on tour in 2013 to figure out what parameters were being used most often, what was most important, and what heads the different shafts were being used in. Generated some categories and saw that shafts fell into one of two categories. Traditional style builds, and then with traditional CG weighting of the shafts. And then another family which had a back weighted or some CG movement back towards the grip.
So what we're talking about for our viewers when you're talking about CG is
Yep.
center of gravity.
Center of gravity.
Yeah.
Yep.
I call it balance point.
Balance
Right.
point works also, yep.
Yeah.
The high balance point shafts are what we're calling the player series,
Okay.
the P series. Allows you to build a little longer club,
Okay.
maintain swing weight, or if you're using a heavier head weight, you can do a same length build, but then manage to keep your overall club swing weight a little lower. We wanted to capture, you know, those characteristics in the two families. So we have what we're calling the Tour Series for the traditional builds, and then the Player Series for these newer style builds with the new heads or the longer clubs.
And so if I were looking at the black, the red, and the white ties in terms of launch characteristics, where would this slot into there?
Well, the two families also have different launch characteristics. The Tour Series have lower launches, and then the Player Series are the higher launching of the shafts.
So what else do we have coming?
Well, later in the spring we've got 3 more products. We've got the Rain Series, which is a complete family of shafts, 4 different metal wood lines, and then irons and hybrids in 2 different weight series.
Do we have one of those here?
Yeah, it's this one right here.
Okay.
We put this together, and it's a club makers line only.
Okay.
It's only sold to club fitters and independent shops and dealers.
What kind of weights are we going to see here?
You're going to see weights anywhere from 50 to 80 grams.
Okay.
4 different metalwood categories, from game improvement to a couple of back-weighted shafts, some tour profiles, and then also a technology shaft which has some more of the exotic materials.
Tell me
in it.
about exotic materials.
You know, we have boron and Xylon with a GMAT material that holds it all together, you know, to provide stiffness, torque decreases, and vibration absorption.
And you've been using those materials for quite some time now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've had them in several product lines. Probably the most well-known would be the TPHD product line.
And I remember that one as causing people to gasp when they heard the MSRP.
Yes, it's a expensive shaft, and in the Rain line, it won't be as expensive.
What are we looking at MSRP here?
I think we're looking at over $600 MSRP
So
on that.
we're still gonna get a couple of.
There'll be a
choking
couple of
sounds.
gasps, yeah,
Yeah.
but not everyone, hopefully.
And I'm assuming that that we have the.
HD
Yeah.
geometry on the
Yeah.
inside of the shaft, yep. And what we're also doing for the club maker, since this is not going to be offered by any OEMs, we're also doing a laser serialization for the club makers, and we have a decal on top of the shaft, and then everything below it is a laser engraved finish, which allows us to one, serialize all the shafts, and also some options for customization of the shafts for individual fitters. We can change.
So can I put a customer's name on this shaft?
If you wanted to, sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yep. So, we're working out the details, but we want to try to give our club fitters, as many options and some exclusivity to the product line.
What else have you got
Great.
coming?
Well, that's going to come at the end of February.
Okay.
In March, we do have the second generation of the TP HD series. It's called the TP HD E, and E stands for extended. So whereas the internal geometry before extended down below the grip section, we've extended it all the way to the parallel section in the tip, so it runs nearly the full length of the shaft now.
The internal geometry.
Yeah, the hexadecimal geometry.
What does the
runs all the way-
hexadecimal geometry do?
The TPHD series had always been sort of a stout shaft, that helps with some vibration absorption. So we've got a softer feel even in a stiffer EI profile.
Okay, and it's that hexadecimal
Geometry.
geometry.
Yeah. Yeah.
How hard is it to machine that mandrel?
Well, I don't know if it's hard to machine, but it is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there, you have to have a specialized CNC machine to do it, and we do get those made at just one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you can put this thing on a lathe and do this.
You
right?
can't do that. No,
You
you
gotta
can't
lay
do
it
that.
down and
Right.
grind every one of those.
Yep, you sure do.
I almost can't even imagine that process.
Takes a long time.
I would guess.
Yeah. The big thing on that everybody's going to see right away on the
Which
new
I'm seeing here already.
yeah, the new TPHD product is this snowflake ion plating. So it's a vapor deposition metallization process, and it has this snowflake pattern on it that right now we only found one supplier who could do it.
So tell me about the materials here. Anything new or exotic or different?
We continued on with our higher modulus materials, graphite materials, and then we still have the Interply technology, which is a combination of the Xylon, boron filaments, and the GMAT, which holds it all together.
MSRP here?
MSRP, geez, I'm not the sales guy, but I believe it's going to be the same, $1,200.
Oh, okay. So this is the real gas. And what else do we have coming?
The last product that we're going to have coming in the spring is going to be our next generation of the program irons.
Okay.
The program graphite irons have been very successful for us. People like the performance, the feel. So we did not change the performance much on these. Our big push here was to, again, move the center of gravity around to help do builds where people are pulling steel shafts and want to put in graphite, and so that they could build as close as possible with a direct replacement at the same length, get the same swing weight.
Looking at a 95 gram.
Yeah, we've got a 95 gram. We're going to have 3 weight series like we had before. The 80 gram, the 95, and then 120 gram.
Okay.
The previous products were 85, 95, and 130.
So
Do
we're
like
seeing,
the feel.
we're seeing tour ply now with carbon fiber, which
Yes. Yep.
which is
New.
interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's more of the better amateurs that are thinking maybe they don't have to have shiny steel shafts. They could,
Yes.
they could actually play reasonably good golf, as 2 of the top 10
Right.
people on the planet are doing with graphite right now.
The iron shafts that are available now, truly have the performance that the better players are looking for, and that's why, like you said, you are seeing, usage starting to increase out on the tours, and you have players who are playing with it when they go to college, and carrying on even when they get to the PGA and don't feel as if they have to play steel because everybody else is.
A few years ago, we shot a video with Daniel Yu,
Yep.
which gave us some formulas. He showed some some graphics about how he looks at shafts and
Okay, yeah.
butt stiffness profile,
Sure.
hip stiffness profile, and then there was another profile. I don't quite remember the word for it, but it had a V shape.
Yeah, they call it a DE curve.
Okay.
So it's called a differential energy curve.
Okay.
So we have our internal proprietary software that allows us to calculate the parameters of a shaft as we're designing it. Flex, EI profile, weight distribution, torque. Does many other calculations, and one of them is this differential energy curve, which is, if you look at how flex is defined, you have CPM,
Right.
you have deflection, you've got EI, and then DE is really the curvature that the shafts see under a load,
Underload.
right? So, with each of those steps, you get a little more information from CPM to deflection to EI to the curvature of the shaft, the energy curve. So,
Explain curvature of the shaft, if you would, to a layman like me. I'm not quite a layman, but explain.
well,
it to us.
under load, the shaft is going to
Oh,
bow, and it's not a constant radius.
right.
And that's essentially because the stiffness of the shaft changes from one section to the next. So if you were to look at a discrete section, a small section of the shaft, as it's deflected, the radius of curvature there is going to change.
Okay.
And so that's the next thing after EI.
Yeah,
So,
and we just wrote a formula for that one, so
Right.
we've got that.
right.
Yeah.
So, that's something new that we're trying to look at that and use that to help us with categorizing feel and playability back into the shaft. And as we went from with the MFS series, as we went from flight characteristics, and now we have speed characteristics with VLOX. Maybe the next thing you'll see is our DE shafts, which with playability and feel characteristics.
So speed
That'll be-
characteristics, you've always talked about how you store energy in the shaft by the way you bow the shaft.
Right.
And
Yeah. So
give us a little background on that. or
right. So
explain that a little.
in order to deflect the shaft, you have to put some energy into it. And during the swing, there comes a point where you release that energy. So as we look at the DE curve, for a different player, a different swing speed, we're looking for a DE curve which is going to maximize that energy release, as close to impact as we can get. There's a lot of work to be done there, but that's what we're chasing right now.
So shaft technology, it continues to develop, continues to
Yeah.
evolve. So we're seeing
Yeah.
more science being applied to what
Yep.
I'm trying to find a kind word for what we saw in the not too distant past, but
Right.
it's becoming
It's really a
aerospace
science.
engineering,
Yeah.
rocket science.
There's lots of good engineers working at all the companies now, and it's great because when someone puts out a good product, it makes everybody else better, right? I mean, you got to be right there too. So, it's never been better for the consumer, right? They're getting the best shafts that they've ever had,
Yeah,
and it's only going to get better for them.
yeah. And so the VLOX is going to be a little bit of a speed kicker for him.
Let's hope so. We hope we've got a product family together where everybody is going to be able to increase their speed.
Well,
Yeah,
great. I
for
look
sure.
forward to testing it.
All right, fantastic.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know you've
Yep.
got another interview to go to,
Yep.
so we'll let you out of here.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Russ.
Thanks for spending some
Yeah.
time with us.
Anytime.